of the tournament, for the playoffs. Don't get too much into your own head, because that can happen, right? Like, you can overthink even the patch, some strategies. You can start doubting yourself in these days too. As long as you can stay cool, calm, and collected, that's probably the main point.
Okay, stay cool, calm, and collected as humanly possible, says Lizard. He's been a player before, he understands the psychology of these things. So let us hope that the remaining teams in the tournament will adopt that psychology on the road to the international. And hopefully one of them will adopt it enough that they can lift an Aegis at the very end of it. That does mean that our group stage is finished. We will be resuming proceedings in the playoffs on October 20th, so make sure that you join us on that day, starting at the very top of the bracket.
I was just ready to start
Team
watching
Spirit,
it
the team
again.
that, I'll be honest, I think is going to win the tournament, but where they'll be starting us off in the playoff side of things. So join us October 20th for some more Dota 2 action. From myself, Snail, from my incredible panel, Gods, Lizard, Winter's here in absentia, Natty is in the background, and of course our wonderful production team that has enabled us to bring you all this fabulous analysis and crucially some fabulous Dota 2 action. Before we go, just a final reminder. Dota 2 is a celebration, right? Not just of fancy lights, cool team fights, lots of action, but of camaraderie, of teamwork, and of building long-lasting connections. There's people that you're going to meet through this game that will remain in your life, your close friends, for the rest of your life. So treasure the moments that you share with them. Make sure that you are keeping a positive mental attitude about the game. But more importantly, make sure that you have fun, enjoy us, and see us in a week to continue the journey on the road to the international.
Okay, we gotta grab some pie.
Right, welcome back.
He is just dead. Who do you focus on? CR going in with the scythe. Can they finish up this? Look at this man.
Here comes
How do
the
you
axe.
stop him?
Oh no, the unstable concoction. That's not what you want to happen. Such a tanky primal beast.
Dude, is it gonna be annoying to find a server? Maybe all the kids have gone to bed.
Is fun.
Also, the end is nigh. YouTube has started yelling at me for using an ad blocker.
Yeah, same. I switched over to Firefox.
How would that help?
The ad block plus
If not a little on this
actually
website. From
works.
the outset, it's clear that while they claim
But
that
still,
this is the same room,
it still
don't
blocks
think
ads,
it's
but
the
they
room of time.
give you a pop-up saying like, we detected you using an ad
Unless they
blocker.
did some major remodeling since
Don't do
Goku's been
this.
training alongside Mr. Power.
So I said the end
That
is
said,
nigh.
I love the lookout so much that I'll just about take anything I can from it. Although brief, I'm very much a fan of what this added exposure offered. It bonds us a little more to the characters before, they bite
I don't know, it
us
just
later.
in
I think I'm ready to
Google's
give my score in this
interest
training
to
arc with
manipulate the
Saiyans,
Chrome
but
browser
we've
to
got
fuck
one
with
stop
shit.
left.
Well, I'm
Goku
pretty
and
sure
Snake
if somebody wants to detect ad blockers, it is trivially easy to tell if an ad is being blocked. I don't think Firefox is going to do anything.
Since I was a little kid watching the show for the very
yeah,
first time, Goku's
so they
adventures in
could
Snake Way, much
not
like the other
then
prominent favorites in Dragon Ball's filler
send
library,
the
has remained a
content of the
personal
video.
favorite of mine.
But I thought they were embedding ads into the data stream. Are they not doing that anymore?
No, I'm saying this appears before you do it, before the
No,
video
no,
shows
I
up.
understand. I'm talking about what Google's doing going forward.
I don't know.
I thought there was talk about something along those lines.
Get over here, freaking demon. Frick, I ate another pie by accident. That sucks. Frickin' it forgot which spell I told it to cast. Cast Smoke Barrage, you goddamn idiot.
Although I haven't looked at much of it in almost 2 decades, playing it today only reminded me of how much I actually love it. For me, my favorite experiences with Goku come about through his engagement with other characters. And for those like myself who hadn't seen Dragon Ball as a kid, it's easy to see how Goku started to feel like a character that would disappear for a long time, interspersed with brief stints of activity. Z starts and immediately he's dead. He runs alone on Snake Way. He travels to Namek alone. He spends ages in the rejuvenation tank alone. And once he defeats Frieza, he again disappears. And so when I look at things through that lens, I think it's easy to see why I loved Snake Way. It's not that it offers Goku any meaningful story advantages like Gohan or the supporting cast received. Instead, it's just one of a few opportunities we get in early Dragon Ball Z to exist and have fun with this character. Plus, it's super fun. The idea that there's a street cleaner on Snake Way is a joke so good I had to mention it in my ultimate review of the series. Goku's falling off Snake Way and into hell only to escape and have to start the path all over again from Enma's desk was hilarious. And the entanglement he gets into with Princess Snake was beautifully animated with a fun fish out of water type feel. Otherworld is another one of those areas in Dragon Ball's mythos that I wish got a little bit more time spent on it, and this filler material gave me just that. I knew I was gonna like the Snake Way stuff, but outside of the escapades with Nappa and Vegeta, I gotta say this filler arc was very strong. As filler goes, I think I have to give it an 8 out of 10. Super strong start from Dragon Ball Z. And the next arc is Fake Namek. After that super strong start, it's only fair I get a reality check that confirms how tiresome this entire enterprise is going to be. This trip to Namek, colloquially known as the Fake Namek arc, is boring. And not because it's filler, but because it's boring. Everything from how it's written to how it's presented. Now, something that was brought to the forefront of my mind while watching this particular batch of filler episodes is how substantially role the context you watch this material plays in dictating your enjoyment. For instance, when I was a kid, I didn't want to see the training Gohan underwent surviving in the wild prior to the invasion. I wanted to see the invasion. However, because I went into this video project with the express mission of watching the filler episodes only, they no longer were seen as obstacles to wade through begrudgingly by myself, but instead they became the destination. And because of that, I was able to enjoy the self-contained story offered to Gohan in the prior filler portion. However, the self-contained story of the Fake Namek material is specifically about how often they can be delayed on their way, which isn't fun. The first 2 episodes emphasize how long it's taken to get to where they need to go. It is boring with a capital B. In the first episode, nothing happens apart from them just hitting a roadblock and they get abducted into this ship. Nothing else. Krillin and Gohan clean up after Bulma. There's nothing else. It's a story that feels like it only has enough material for 1 episode at a stretch. It's just not a fun watch, and I didn't care about the kids on this spaceship either. It does offer some shine to Frieza and Kiwi, but it's not necessary or enjoyable in my opinion. The only conflict is a meteor shower. And finally, episodes 3 to 6. The Fake Namek episode is a cute one, but even that ends up with you finding out that this has been a massive waste of time. Furthermore, because this is all set up, there's once again no conflict in the first episode, the second episode, or really the third episode. Finding the Dragon Balls is relatively easy here, and even the canon material interspersed within this is stretched. Vegeta is healed almost immediately in the manga, but he's in this healing tank for ages in these episodes. The idea behind the Fake Namek stuff, like I said, is fine, but it goes on for the length of an average feature-length film. It is far too long, dragging its feet to an obvious conclusion that exists purely as an obstacle en route to Namek, which sucks. I really didn't enjoy these ones. It's awful. 2 out of 10. Next. Garlic Jr. Maybe this is controversial, and I don't know who needs to hear this out there, but the Garlic Jr. saga isn't bad. It's actually pretty good. I mean, turning the supporting cast into demon vampire zombies is honestly kinda awesome, and if I'm being totally fair, in any way whatsoever, let's just say setting it in the lookout guarantees I'll love it. Jokes aside, this is exactly the sort of filler I look for, and I was pretty surprised by its quality when viewed in this standalone context. This is a story penned exclusively by one person. Katsuyuki Sumisawa. And that singular vision results in a coherent, well-explored story that, to me, is actually a lot better than the movie material that inspired it. This isn't bastardizing a pre-existing idea, it's leveraging our prior understanding and expectations to create subversions that are genuinely well executed, subversions that reveal character in beautiful ways. It all leads in quite naturally from the previous episode where Goku refuses the wish to bring him back to Earth. It's a time of relative peace, and the arc kicks off by exploring what exactly our heroes actually do during these brief moments of respite. For Gohan, it's fetching dinner every day in a lovely sequence reminiscent of the opening of the original Dragon Ball series. For Krillin, it's dressing up like your local pimp and picking up cuties, apparently. And for Piccolo, well, much like the filler from the Saiyan saga, he's still an edgy boy beating himself up in the dark stretches of the wilderness. Probably listening to Hybrid Theory on repeat, just a guess. This, however, is where things kick off. Kami himself appears and offers him the role of Earth's guardian, which of course he refuses, and is a nice reminder of where he's at mentally prior to the Cell Arc's rejoining moment. But he also notes that the Mizoku are on the move again, introducing the man of the hour. It's Garlic Jr. Turns out he escaped the dead zone due to the alignment of the planet Makyo that powers up his race. How's that for crazy lore? After Popo gets his ass kicked, sorry TFS fans, Kami rolls up on the lookout and wow, we actually get to see him fight again. I hope you're starting to see why this arc might actually be kinda cool. Well, as it turns out, this spicy gnome wants to take over the Earth once again. Not exactly a novel concept, but the way he wants to go about things is what makes this so interesting. In my opinion, at least. Mr. Garlic pours this aqua mist, or the black water mist from the dub, down from the lookout and starts turning the people below into demons. This facilitates what I think is a pretty neat character moment for Gohan. His very own mother and friends begin to turn into demons in front of his very eyes and attack him and Krillin. For a young boy that once struggled to even leave his father's side, to remain calm and collected in this moment is honestly awesome to see. It fits in nicely with the development Gohan saw throughout the Frieza arc. But as the demon henchmen roll up, so too does Piccolo, and the arc's main three are finally in place with a clear goal: beat Garlic Jr. and undo the transformations. Well, there goes one of the gang at least. In a last-ditch effort to buy Gohan and Krillin time to get away, Piccolo ends up bitten. And what ensues is one hell of a battle. Initially just Gohan versus the henchmen, things quickly turn into pupil versus mentor, and eventually Gohan versus mentor and friend. The once crybaby son is forced to stand alone against impossible odds. What a captivating idea. And yet... This is so big brain. All this time Piccolo was pretending and mid-battle convinced Krillin to play along too. All in aid of rescuing Popo and Kami. I love this so much. We're so often told that Piccolo is a smart character, but man, to see it in action like this and so prominently is amazing. Look at what it offers the story. As a result of this plan, Piccolo had to put all his faith in Gohan and stand strong in the face of adversity, unaware of his trickery. And he never gives up. It's such a perfect distillation of who these two characters are. Two individuals enjoying a pivotal moment for both of their respective characters that reveals their underlying strengths. For Gohan, it's his courage, and for Piccolo, it's his intellect. Round of applause for Sumisawa on this one. But now, with the release of Kami and Popo, they must head off on their own mini-subplot through the depths of this strange dimension of the Lookout to retrieve the super holy water, the cure to Garlic's evil machinations. Unfortunately, while this offers some cool visuals, it largely amounts to cutaways of the pair just, running? A whole lot of running! Okay, and some flying too. Mercifully, the battle against Garlic is awesome, however. The animation during this section is so good. It's honestly kind of nice to have a battle set in a location like this, given most of Dragon Ball's battles take place in the wilderness. And man, does this battle really reach crazy heights. Gohan literally impales Garlic, and this dude just walks it off due to his immortality and the crazy power buff from the planet Makyo. Since Popo and Kami have succeeded at this point and the Earth is beginning to be healed, Garlic goes crazy and creates another dead zone to try and suck in the Lookout. With Piccolo starting to fade away, he gives Gohan one last big brain move: blow up the planet, buffing him. And with one incredible Masenko, the planet is obliterated. And with Krillin and Piccolo back in action, the trio send Garlic flying back into the dead zone for good. It's such an awesome teamwork finisher to what has essentially been side character teamwork, the arc. It really did genuinely surprise me how much I enjoyed this one. Garlic Jr. isn't exactly the most interesting character, his henchmen are about as interesting as paper, and the power scaling doesn't make much sense at all. But that never really got in the way of what was a fascinating character-driven tale for me. And even its momentary cutaways to Vegeta are chock full of interesting commentary. I don't know if it's just because I've never seen it in Japanese before, but this really felt like an entirely different experience. It's the best of these filler arcs so far, and I urge you to give it another shot if you're down on it. Its ambitious concepts and fun ideas, both narratively and visually, felt super refreshing. And it didn't negatively impact the canon material in any meaningful way. I don't think I can ask for much more from a filler episode. 8.5 out of 10. Great filler. Alright, time to look at some Android filler. We now move away from the filler arcs and into standalone episodes once again. And amusingly, these first two episodes could not be more different. Episode 124 might as well be called The Depressed Prince because, whoo boy, this sad nugget of a man literally hospitalizes himself trying to become stronger than Kakarot. And while that's kinda hilarious, the episode is honestly really well directed and a pretty neat concept, all things considered. While asleep in the hospital, Vegeta experiences this trippy nightmare of chasing Kakarot and Trunks, only to find them impossible to reach. Before his very eyes, they transform into Super Saiyans and fade off into the distance as Vegeta screams in anguish over his inability to reach their level. He remembers his father's words as a child, proclaiming he will one day be the strongest and even may attain Super Saiyan. The whole thing's surprisingly moving and is undercut and contrasted with moments of Piccolo, Goku, and Gohan training together happily. It's the kind of thing Toriyama would never write. This tortured metaphorical trip through Vegeta's mind is pretty antithetical to Dragon Ball's tone entirely, but I really love when filler does this. Offering fascinating insight into a character's mind and contrasting his isolation with the teamwork the others are using to improve themselves is super fitting, and I think only adds to the story itself. And on the complete opposite end of the tonal spectrum is episode 125, the driving episode. I would love to pretend there's some sort of lengthy insight I could provide for this, but it genuinely is just nonsense wacky perfection for like 20 minutes straight. Seeing Goku in civilian clothes always looks so strange to me, but Piccolo manages to pull off the yellow-purple combo hilariously well. The whole thing's a total car crash of an episode, pun absolutely intended, and if you somehow haven't seen it, please go check it out. It has gotta be the funniest of all these filler episodes by a country mile and has solidified itself in the fandom's memory for good reason. I'd give the first episode a solid 7 out of 10, and the driving episode is as good as Comic Dragon Ball gets. 9.5 out of 10 easy. Jumping ahead now to the remainder of the Android Arcs filler, we now find ourselves exploring what the gang is up to in the gap before the Cell games begin. The first episode in this batch sees Gohan save a girl called Lime, and while that bizarre gag might lead you to think this is a lighthearted affair, it's actually a reasonably serious addition to the story. Unfortunately, Lime's parents were killed by Cell and now her village is being overrun by a tyrant named Bourbon, charging extortionate prices to let people into his protective dome to escape Cell's wrath. I honestly really like this as a concept for a filler episode. It's not often we really get to see the full extent of how Cell's terror has affected the wider world outside of the main characters, both from the perspective of people who've lost loved ones as well as the panic and exploitation that takes place as a result of it. This is all explained to Gohan through the character of Lao, an old man who took in Lime after her parents passed, and who Bourbon is extorting for money from this shelter. Because apparently charging high prices to get in isn't enough. He's got to rip off the entire village to even build it in the first place. And to make matters worse, this asshat has hired Tao Pai Pai as his bodyguard. Lao is honestly such a great character. There's a real gravitas to his screen presence that makes him feel so effortlessly watchable. He's a classic master martial artist in every way, and it's awesome to see him take on the villains of this tale single-handedly. It's an episode where Gohan doesn't throw a single punch. It truly is the story of the people of this village through and through, and I kind of love it for committing to that. Gohan's sole role is really just to scare Tao Pai Pai off as he realizes he's Goku's son. Otherwise, he largely just exists as a vessel to push the story along and inspire. As a result, it's hard to sort of quantify why this episode is so incredibly good. It feels so perfect for Gohan's pacifist nature, all the while adding to the texture of the Dragon Ball world. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. It feels like it truly understands Dragon Ball's characters and world, and it's another big win for Sumisawa's writing, would you believe? Unfortunately, while Gohan-centric episodes are appreciated, episode 171 doesn't really land in the way I would have liked. The concept on paper sounds interesting enough. It's a birthday party for Gohan, and Chi-Chi spends the time reminiscing about moments from Gohan's childhood we've never been privy to before. But that's not really what the episode ends up being, sadly. Instead, we spend much of the time spinning our wheels on disparate scenes of Goku riding a fish, Cell being bothered by the press, or Chi-Chi being flanderized to unbearable levels. While there are some genuinely sweet moments like the last few minutes of the episode where the party actually takes place, it sadly doesn't make up for the meandering snooze fest that leads up to that point. A regretful 4 out of 10 for this one. Thankfully, however, bright skies await in the final episode of the Android filler. Episode 174 is a genuine delight. Some cool scenes with Mr. Satan and a sick Trunks training sequence kicks off this episode, making it worthwhile from the get-go. But that's not even what this episode is about. Goku's off searching for the Dragon Balls and ends up rolling in on Tao Pai Pai and some gangsters in their secret base. What ensues is pure hilarity. It is so good. Goku doesn't even seem to register the threat. He just wants the Dragon Balls they have and seems to view this whole situation as some peaceful negotiation, which I guess it kinda is, given Tao Pai Pai is, well, it's just so stupid. I love this. Instead of fighting Goku, he gives him a puzzle to complete. If he solves it, he gets the Dragon Balls. Of course, at this point, the mob and Tao sneak out and drive off as far as they can, only for Goku to solve it, appear next to them, and take the Dragon Balls. Again, without even registering they were trying to con him. I don't normally love Goku being portrayed quite so stupidly, but the sheer naivety being played up in such a slapstick manner straight up killed me. This is easily a 9 out of 10, and I wish it was up there with the driving episode for most fans, cause it's just too good. The Otherworld Tournament. The Otherworld Tournament, or Afterlife Tournament as it's otherwise known, is a strange one. Not because it's clearly bizarre, or because it's Dragon Ball Z's only conventional tournament arc with a clear-cut ending. No, it's strange because I remember this arc boring me to tears as a kid for whatever reason, and upon revisit, it's held up considerably well. Now, for all the Otherworld Tournament fans out there, I'm not trying to suggest that this arc is perfect or remotely measures up to the other canon tournaments of Dragon Ball's past. It's got its flaws, not the least of which is a distracting and palpable lack of consequence and stakes that is felt throughout the tournament from beginning to end. However, it's that very distinct lack of consequence and tension that emphasizes how brave a choice it was to have a filler tournament feature so prominently. Because fundamentally and structurally, I don't think a filler Dragon Ball tournament can be written to meet the expectations set by its predecessors. Tournaments aren't compelling because they show strong opponents facing off against other strong fighters. Instead, it's the underlying story that takes place and how that story impacts the main characters in lasting ways, informing the events of the arcs to come like a ripple upon a pond set in motion from the purposeful throw of a pebble. But the uphill battle this arc faces is that it doesn't really have a pebble from which to create interesting ripples. Nor can it afford to, because there can never be lasting consequences from a piece of filler, as we've outlined. By the arc's end, we need to return to the status quo. Other arcs have successfully gotten around this issue, like Gohan's training under Piccolo, where the consequences of this activity had already been offered by the canon material. The filler just filled in the gap. And this is true for all the other filler arcs largely, finding safe and comfortable positioning between two canon moments, one offering a launching pad into the story and another offering the impending consequence from which it can draw inspiration from. For example, following Goku's defeat of King Piccolo, he seeks the tutelage of God to help him prepare for the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai against Piccolo Jr. Once there, it's demonstrated to us what Goku is lacking. This, therefore, naturally transitions into a filler arc that works towards establishing the training and lessons he needs to learn, which, as I've mentioned, are pointed out later. This is to say, the setup and consequences are taken care of. However, in this otherworld tournament, there is no setup beyond Goku looking to occupy all of this newfound time on his hands, and there can't be consequences because the story we transition into later doesn't follow Goku. Or at least not right away anyway. So, if I've spent all of this time talking about the structural problems with this arc, how did I have so much more fun than I was anticipating? Well, this might sound like an unsatisfying answer, but it's just fun. While the story is light and challenged in almost every area, Aya Matsui, the sole writer behind this filler story, must have known what she had to work with as she leaned into its strengths consistently. Apart from being wall-to-wall funny with Goku's shenanigans in Otherworld's check-in station and airport now acting as a backdrop for some trademark Dragon Ball humor, it's how this story is framed that I found quite clever. This is dramatic irony, the arc. Almost every fight in this arc is purposely funny, and this is to place emphasis on the fighter that Goku will inevitably meet in the finals, Paikuhan, or Paikon in the dub. All the while everyone, including those in Goku's own quadrant, doubt his abilities or are put off by his nonchalant manner of speaking and presentation, doubting his abilities next to these more traditional fighters as a result. This, my friends, is the feedback loop which fuels Goku's fights in this tournament. One of the Kais doubts Goku and presents him with one of their champions, only for them to be blown away by how capable Goku truly is. And that doesn't really get boring as fast as you'd think for two reasons. Number one, the gags are on point. When Goku's first opponent put himself into a cocoon only for him to be DQ'd due to it taking thousands of years for him to emerge, that had me rolling around on the floor laughing. This helps the story to feel less serious and light. And number two, the leading reason I think this feedback loop works for 4 to 5 episodes is because as an audience we're in on the joke with Goku and King Kai because we know something all the other Kais and all the other fighters don't. We know where Goku came from, what he's been through, and most importantly, we know what he can do. That's a really powerful feeling for the audience to experience. And with Paikuhan's fights all being totally different to that which Goku and the others have enjoyed, as an audience we look to him as our white whale to look out for. We are waiting and anticipating Paikuhan, the champion heralded as one of the best fighters, to have that same exasperated look on his face when Goku reveals who he truly is. Paikuhan versus Goku. This fight is spread across 2 episodes, and honestly, I'm glad it was because the art direction, boards, and animation of that first episode was pretty dampening, all things considered. In saying that, I don't want to entirely discredit that first part to their fight, and it's not without its own upside given it's the first time Goku demonstrates his ability to transform. This is a moment the arc has purposely been building to the entire time, so much so that they had to quickly color swap a previous Super Saiyan transformation in Hell to keep it all a secret. This is the moment we've been waiting for Paikuhan to see, and fantastically, he doesn't flinch or crumble like the others looking on have. Instead, he eagerly welcomes the challenge. And carrying that momentum into the second and final episode of this fight, we're greeted by a massively improved level of direction, choreography, and animation in this installment. In the back half, Paikuhan seems to have an answer to every challenge Goku presents him with, demonstrating in his own way that he's much faster than even Goku can contend with. This is where our dynamic with Goku as an audience member shifts for the first time, and that shift occurs when he demonstrates a move we haven't seen in a very long time. And in tandem with the Super Saiyan transformation, no less, the Kaioken. Used to escape this impressive move from Paikuhan, suddenly, much like the audience members we were so excited to see dumbfounded by Goku's abilities, we are similarly sitting there, stunned by what we are seeing. It's a cute game the arc plays with our perspective, and it's made possible thanks to the move King Kai taught him specifically, which was a fitting touch in my opinion. After Goku eventually takes this supposed victory, thanks to a well-timed Kamehameha used with his instant transmission technique, it's revealed that both competitors' feet touch the out of bounds,
good news,
resulting in a double DQ finish, with no side having gained anything but a different perspective on each other. And that's the strange thing about this arc. It's ultimately hollow and offers little in terms of fleshing out the existing story like other arcs.
I'm hoping to
have
find something
afforded.
before
There are even arguments
the
one might make
holidays.
that this filler arc should have concerned itself with Gohan growing up instead of spending yet more
I'm
time
sure
with
You
Goku,
know.
a character we were supposed to be moving away from. But despite
I don't
all
know.
of that,
I don't
it's
know what a
still
holiday
ton of
is.
fun for all the reasons I've outlined. I don't think it'll leave a lasting impression on me, and like I said, it has its flaws, but overall it's a much more enjoyable experience than I recalled. 6.5 out of 10. The Boo arc. And now we hit the point where the anime had a substantial overhaul. New series director, new character designer, the works. And well, the approach to filler completely changed too. Up until this point, there have been some pretty chunky stretches of dedicated filler arcs and standalone episodes, but those mostly just melt away in this arc, and instead they're replaced with fully fledged extensions of the canon material. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not about to pretend the previous arcs didn't drag out fights with extended battles and stare downs, or cutaways to non-combatants doing all sorts of silly stuff. Here's looking at you, Ginyu Frog. But that's not what I mean here. Those absolutely exist, but the way the filler works here is deeply ingrained into the story. It shows what was unseen in the manga or extends it dramatically. In some cases, it even replaces canon material with its own take on things. It's how an arc that is 7 volumes long in the manga, around the same length as Frieza and Cell individually, ended up encompassing a little under half of the entire series. For example, take Gohan's Saiyaman identity being unraveled by Videl. In the manga, Gohan zooms off in disguise after Videl to aid in the takedown of some bank robbers. The whole thing's over in only a few pages, and Videl catches the Great Saiyaman out by using Gohan's name and getting him to respond. It's all hilariously stupid in that iconic Toriyama sort of way, and wraps up super quick by Videl essentially going, my guy, you literally have Gohan's voice and knew my name. Are you dumb? It's honestly incredible. The anime, on the other hand, replaces this segment with a bunch of robbers hijacking a senior citizen sightseeing bus. It is so beyond absurd, the old people on the bus don't even realize what's going on and start wondering what the tour will show them next. There are helicopter jumps, the bus shoots off a cliff. It is crazy with a capital C. After the Great Saiyaman flies in to rescue the bus, he accidentally uses Videl's name, to which she wonders how he knew her name. And then the episode just, it ends. What's happening here is that the anime is essentially breaking down Gohan's mistakes into individual episodes. In the very next episode, Gohan slips up and lands on the school roof as the Great Saiyaman before dropping the disguise, only to notice that a classmate called Angela had seen him. What follows is Angela bizarrely blackmailing Gohan to go on a date with her. They go to the movies, to a coffee shop, and all the while Gohan keeps messing up. As cursed as this sounds, it's honestly pretty damn hilarious, but I think my favorite moment is probably where Gohan goes to ask Chi-Chi for advice, and she reminisces about her first date with Goku. I mean, little boy Goku had no clue what a date was, and upon Chi-Chi explaining it was the most fun thing you could think of, my little man throws a right hook. It is perfection. Unfortunately, the episode kinda spins its wheels by repeating the same plot point from the last episode. Danger's around, Videl's in the scene, and Gohan has to jump in. And well, turns out the secret Angela knew all along was that Gohan wears teddy bear underpants. And she saw nothing on the roof because she had no contacts in. And it just keeps going like this. The next episode once again has the same plot point. Trouble occurs, Videl is there, Gohan steps in. Rinse and repeat. The final episode at least includes a plot point that pulls on my animal-loving heartstrings with a circus abusing a dinosaur. But, like, this is still fundamentally the exact same structure. For the 4th episode in a row. 4 episodes of content, a whole movie's worth of runtime, for something that was essentially a gag for a few pages in the manga. There's some great comedy in spots, but unfortunately 4 episodes just nukes the pacing and kind of murders the idea that Videl is a smart cookie. I'd probably give this segment 4 out of 10. It has its moments, but boy is it a slog at times. Goku versus Majin Vegeta. For many, this doesn't even register as filler, and it's easy to see why. I mean, it's one of the most highly anticipated rematches in the series, and in the manga, it amounts to a quick page or two of flurries, and then it ends. It is chock full of fantastic dialogue, absolutely, but it is not a fight, really. And while it's easy to argue that that's the point, and maybe I'd agree, I think this is one aspect this adaptation really excels in. All the battles in this arc just feel huge. The various animation staff involved in this particular bout truly gave it their all. It is full of iconic sequence after iconic sequence that just builds and
I hate
builds
these.
across
I
several
hate these
episodes.
things.
I think it works super
You just
well
teleport
for the fan
away.
service, but
Stop.
also in the sense of adding real weight to the power that ultimately gives rise to Majin Buu. While I can definitely see arguments against extending this to such an extent, personally I just think the entertainment factor outweighs it entirely. It's gotta be at a minimum a 9 out of 10. The animation is just too good and the tension so palpable that it might as well just be the de facto version of events. And now it's time for the awkward bits. Now, this is where it starts to get kinda hard to throw titles up, you see. The filler genuinely becomes so completely sporadic and ingrained in the content that it's almost impossible to talk about it individually without this video being like 9 hours long. Which, hey, you might enjoy, but I value sleep, so how about a quickfire round? Episode 239. Roshi does horrible things to Android 18 while Bulma and Videl take on a suspiciously well-animated dinosaur. It's a pretty looking episode, but it offers very little outside of video evidence that Roshi should be in jail. Episode, well, basically all the episodes for the time being. Boo turns people into candy and terrorizes the city. Over and over and over and over and over and oh, just make it end. Episode 251. Gotenks is born and immediately goes to fight Boo. This is off-screened in the manga because it's literally a gag about his cockiness. The anime shows it, it undermines the whole gag, it's not even a good fight. Episode 252. Mr. Satan becomes Boo's best buddy. This episode is basically the entire concept from the manga stretched out into almost a full episode, and it is glorious. I mean, it actually animates the Mr. Satan video game. Great extension, no complaints here. Episodes 256 and 257. Why did we need 2 episodes of Boo walking around the lookout? Why? Episode... Gotenks stuff. This time chamber fight is super drawn out and all the cutaways are just Gohan sat still waiting. I mean, I like Gotenks, but not for 4 episodes straight of the exact same stuff. But hey, like I mentioned in my review of this arc, I do love the reaction to him learning that his family is now gone. Hooray for sadness. Episode Vegito stuff. Did you know that Vegito only lasts for 2 chapters in the manga? Well, you get him for 4 episodes in the anime. Wow, 4 episodes. This show really loves 4 episodes of things. Well, maybe it's hypocritical to say, but 4 episodes of Vegito are way cooler than 4 episodes of Gotenks. You know what else lasts for 4 episodes though? The inside of Boo. There's actually a fully dedicated section of filler here that was originally just a single chapter in the manga. And while most of it is mind-numbingly dull, episode 274 has the gang battling phantom versions of their kids and it's kinda awesome. What follows are mostly just battle extensions that thankfully are pretty sick too. The added content to the fight in the Kaioshin realm produced one of the best looking episodes in the series, episode 279. And that's true for a lot of the fights in the climax here also. The anime really turns things up to 11 and produces extended content that adds some awesome weight to the show's final battle. But, well, I'd be remiss to not mention the insane cutaway to Ghost Dabra hanging out with the Ghost Girlies. It kills the pacing, but I won't lie, it is pretty funny. And hey, who doesn't love watching Cell and Frieza standing there salty as all hell in hell? And well, that brings a close to the quickfire round as we now jump into the final dedicated filler episode of Dragon Ball Z's entire run, episode 288. This final piece of fully original content sees the gang throwing a party, which apparently they love to do given that this is also the premise of Yo-Son Goku and his friends Return Special and Battle of Gods. And you know what? Maybe that's the key to good Dragon Ball content because this episode is pretty fire. There's something just so sweet and wholesome about Chi-Chi picking out what she needs to wear while Gohan and Goten get dressed. It's a rare bit of normality we don't often get a glimpse of, and the fact that this is all happening while Goku is off out poking around in nature just feels so in keeping with his character and a nice throwback to the early days of his life. And well, I think that's the point. Goku sits and reminisces about how this is the very mountain Grandpa Gohan found him on all those years ago. He reflects on how his grandpa may have been strict, but he was also super kind. It even shows him being given the iconic Nyoibo, allowing this section to all feel like a perfect way to reflect back on what has been an incredibly long journey. Not just for the characters, but for the people who watched the show on the air at the time. As the party rages on, there are so many adorable interactions like Bulma barbecuing, Tenshinhan giving Krillin pizza, Majin Buu trying to take Vegeta's food, and Vegeta actually agreeing. I mean, it's all just so lovable, and of course gave rise to the absolutely iconic Disco Ball Z moment. While the second half gets a little tiring seeing the dinosaur plot continue once again, I mean, it's sort of important, I think. Goku finally arrives and tells the gang the story of how he saved the dinosaur babies, and it sort of feels symbolic for him fostering in a new generation. It's the real theme of the series' finale. What follows is Goku joking about being dead when Goten was born, before Goku kindly welcomes Vegeta to stop standing by himself. And well, I think when combined with the beautiful music and the narrator celebrating Son Goku's charm, it's a perfect way to wrap up this era as the show heads into its time skip. And eventually, the end of the series. 7.5 out of 10, it's pretty cute. Dragon Ball Z's filler gets a bad rep, and it's not exactly surprising given some of the content I've outlined today. A lot of the series features mind-numbing extensions of content that was meant to be short, or cutaways to content that disrupts the flow and pacing of certain stretches. The stuff can be brutal, and it certainly sticks with people given it's sort of being exaggerated in people's minds to the point that they think characters genuinely power up for multiple episodes at a time now. But I think what's become clear for me these past two videos is that there's actually a lot to love about Dragon Ball's dedicated filler material, especially in the context in which I've just viewed it in. You see, for most people, filler is something that gets in the way. It's a blockade of sorts to the next point in the story, whether that be 9 episodes of training before Nappa and Vegeta arrive, or 10 episodes of Garlic Jr. while you wait for the Android arc to begin. It's pretty hard to find much enjoyment in disruption, but as I've sat down and watched many of these self-contained arcs and episodes in isolation, I found that they work surprisingly well that way, especially those arcs conceived of and written by a single person. I'm enjoying so much of what they have to offer the characters and the world on their own, even if I know that when placed in context, they don't serve the narrative pacing in the best of ways. I do, however, think that that's definitely the right move for shows that need filler so as not to catch up with the manga. Rather than pad out
Stop teleporting me! Teleporting my enemies away.
Teleports you behind me. Nothing personnel, kid.
No, I just want my stupid drop so I can stop fighting these guys, man. This is really obnoxious. I'm not having a good time this weekend. Why did they make this so annoying? Oh, why did he run that way? Just give me my web. I want to just be done with it.
Oh, so this is what a book is. Ah, fuck this. Let's just watch some movies.
So I guess the first movie we're going to watch is this, The Instructor, starring Bob Saul, coach of the U.S. AAU karate team. It's a pretty good, look at that. The action never stops in this stunt-packed karate extravaganza of a black belt instructor who proves that his talents and expertise can be used to defend instead of destroy. The instructor runs a local karate school and tries to impart to his students a sense of dignity along with the intricacies of the sport. He's threatened.
Oh my god, they're all running away because this stupid room. It's laid out by a moron.
By a rival school's owner, he puts his teachings into action through spectacular car chases.
That's not an exciting shot.
for a car chase scene? Yeah.
It's like rule number 1. Going away from the camera is more exciting than coming towards it. Always.
Teaching into action with car chases?
That's a whole new
The
form
car
of
chases
karate.
in the school?
I guess so.
I hope so.
Through spectacular car chases and gripping hand-to-hand battles, he tracks, pursues, and corners his adversary. And that's it. He just corners him, and then he just walks away. And then the rest is left to your imagination.
Sounds dusty.
Of course.
My velour tracks.
It's ruined.
It weighs
It's
100
ruined.
pounds.
Oh, yeah. You can see both of them.
Struggling. That's the only reason he was caught.
Arms of water like a sponge.
These bell bottoms are adding another 80 pounds.
Oh, punched you right in the belly!
I was pregnant.
Well, Rich, our next movie is Through Dead Eyes, starring James Doohan, who, you might ask? Why, it's Star Trek Scotty.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
Not many people would. And look, it's autographed by James Doohan, presumably before they shot him into space after he died.
You know, saying that autograph, it just makes me think of the awkward moment that happened when. Here's James Doohan, right? He's 85 years old, and he's signing autographs at like a table at a Star Trek convention, wondering where his life went wrong.
And then
some asshole walks up with Through Dead Eyes and says, "Can you sign this?" And it's just like,
oh, that's where it went wrong.
That's how it all ended for James Doohan.
Ah, well.
Those are the last days of his life. James Doohan, Scotty from Star Trek, in case we forgot from the front of the box, stars in this thrilling horror/murder mystery about an old, unsolved string of murders and a psychic who can see how and when people will die. A police detective hunts a serial killer whose only victims are women. Turning to a psychic to help solve the crime, he discovers she is tortured by her power to see through people who will soon die. You know, I don't have to touch your vagina, right? Touch it there! Together, they are determined to catch the killer. He also seeks assistance from a retired detective, Doohan.
Oh, God.
Who sits on a couch in one room and bangs out all of his scenes within 5 minutes.
It doesn't say that.
No, but it should.
There's a picture on the back of him sitting in a couch.
There's very specifically him sitting in a couch, and it's an action scene because he's holding a gun. But he's still sitting in his recliner.
So they get people to buy this. Through
the power of James Doohan.
But you'd think if they're going to lure you in with James Doohan, you shouldn't have to explain who he is. What does that say about him?
Oh boy. Yeah, it says some more stuff on the back, but who really cares?
Yeah.
Right?
He's going to be sitting on the couch.
It says some stuff. I can't wait to watch this.
Do you think the dead eyes are going to be his?
Yeah, well, he's only got one dead eye. maybe he loses the other one in the movie.
He's called Dead Eyes.
He's so frumped over.
I gotta walk.
When will you know?
Why is he standing behind the table? He's like,
He had to like wedge himself back there.
how's he gonna get out?
You move your table, I gotta get out now.
God, there's so many TVs.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good, James. That second film we watched sure was something else.
Yeah. What do you want to watch next?
Oh yes. Well, I discovered this CD case that contains a film that
It looks mysterious.
it's been printed on a home DVD printer.
Okay.
So this either traveled from the early 2000s into the future.
So someone can afford printer ink.
Yes, it
So
is a
this person is
printable-
wealthy.
Printable DVD.
Oh.
It traveled through time.
Right.
It either traveled through time or it is a Neil Breen film.
Whoa. Neil Breen, that sounds like a sandwich spread.
It is both a sandwich spread and a man. A filmmaker from Las Vegas, Nevada, named Neil Breen, who's made other films apparently.
Yeah, I've heard filmmaking's a real gamble.
So this is the new Neil Breen film. We've done 2 of his films before on Best of the Worst. This is Twisted Pair.
Right.
Copyright 2018. There's no box.
There's no artwork. It's mysterious.
He could not be bothered to make a case for this
Right.
when he self-distributed it on a printable, burnable DVD-R.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll be able to make a case for whether the movie is good or not.
Oh, it's fading in.
Oh no!
There they are.
No.
My performance will be groundbreaking.
Okay, I can't find any
Why is he
documents
frozen?
here. I have to go buy.
So they can fade in.
Oh.
Oh my God! One of them's a giant.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, Kale's shirt opens on the left, and Kate's opens on the right.
Yeah, why are they wearing the same clothes?
The twins, Mike.
Even after being abducted by aliens, they got on the same jeans.
He's growing.
Look at it! Yeah, look at his
He's
feet.
growing.
Maybe the aliens gave him clothes.
The final time I saw Kale broke my heart. Although we were now humanoids, I still felt a bond and love for him as my brother.
Oh my God.
Faster.
Hey, faster.
Faster, more intense.
I'd so watch this whole movie at 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, I could.
Suddenly it's really good. So nice to be in Hawaii.
Yeah, you know,
So sunny.
It's we're all festive.
I didn't think it was going to be such a dry heat.
You know, I'd take charge, but that just feels morally wrong, like on the end of the table.
No, it's fine.
Good thing they're
Well,
on-
I'm gonna
good thing
take
they're on the
charge
back.
because I may lose my voice at some point during this discussion, and then if I don't have to explain a movie, then I'll just sit here and nod for the rest of the video.
You'd always ADR it really awkwardly
That's true.
afterwards.
Yeah. We'll just dub my voice over. I'll remember what I
Do
thought
a
I
Neil
wanted
Breen.
to say.
Yeah. Just
Paging Mr. Herman. Paging Mr. Herman.
Paging Mr. Herman.
Paging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
Our first movie is The Instructor. And Colin, you brought this down like 2 years ago or something.
I think so. Yeah.
You gave it to us, and then we just shoved it in the corner.
Yeah. I saw a screening of this in Toronto, in an actual movie theater with people.
Not a film print, though.
Not a film print. I don't even know if this exists on film, but this is the only copy I could get.
It barely exists on DVD. It's like a VHS rip, and it's trying to kill itself as the video goes along.
It should be a very simple story. It's just a story about.
Should it?
Well, it is.
Is
Technically,
it?
it's just about 2 rival karate schools.
It's basically Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Sure, just with more car chases and awkward fight scenes.
When you say it like that, it's like, okay, I get what that is. When you actually watch the movie, it is one of the most confusing things I've ever seen. Like, none of us knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Who characters were.
No, there's our hero. There's Bert Pesci.
This guy, he looks like a tiny Burt Reynolds. With a fake Burt Reynolds wig.
It's the love child of Burt Reynolds and Joe Pesci.
At the time of filming, both these guys are like 23. That's a long shot.
They just left the camera on. They're running back to get it. Let's use that.
It's like if you just sawed off Burt Reynolds' head, like you just took a fucking saw to it and just stuck it directly on Joe Pesci's torso. This is what you'd have.
That's our lead character.
Or Charles Manson with an afro and a karate suit.
Although I've never seen Joe Pesci run, so I don't know how accurate this guy's running is to Joe Pesci's, but
it's pretty good.
He's got a great run. Running in Joe Pesci's body.
Okay, so
he's
slightly
not
awkward.
Quite, he's not quite used to that body.
Okay.
So this kind of has like a backstory. It's almost like Miami Connection, like behind the scenes. This guy Don Bendel owned this karate school, and he's still
in real life.
In real life, he's still a karate instructor today. He's got a big karate school.
Oh.
And I guess decided he wanted to make a movie, and I guess like all of his students are the stars of this film. He's actually in the film, but he's not the lead actor.
It feels like the Burt Pesci should be the guy.
The writer,
it feels like it's his vanity project, so it's surprising that it's not.
Usually when your action hero is the guy who should not be your action hero,
yes,
it's an ego vanity project.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're the director and you're not the lead, you would think that the person you're going to pick would be like the kind of like muscular, handsome guy, not the 5 foot tall guy with a snap-on afro.
Fisher Price adventure people body.
Yeah, it looks like his hair. So this movie opens and it's him and the director jogging, and it's obvious that it's a wig. It couldn't look more like a wig.
Well, the idea, we looked it up on IMDb. The opening of the movie was a reshoot that was done several years later. Because most of the movie, like, his hair looks stupid and weird, but it's really his hair.
It looks natural, yeah.
But that opening scene, it's so clearly a wig.
It could, it's like Chubby Checker's hair.
Right,
It's like tape on afro
painted
wig.
Foam. It reminds me of like a big boom microphone hood.
What?
That woman's being
Wait, what?
Oh, by the ninja?
The ninja's just.
Oh, he
what?
missed him.
What the fuck just happened?
And apparently, in a scene that we just didn't get, Dom DeLuise ninja is forced upon the female gang member.
Right.
Because we're like, is he raping her? What is happening? We had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, this is a very, very confusing scene.
Well, don't our heroes say he's raping her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they jump in to save the girl.
But I
and
think
then-
she pulled him down onto her.
I was just walking home, and these guys from this gang just grabbed me, pulled me right in the center, and they put me on top of that girl, and I didn't even know her. My mom knew that she would crack up, man. Who the hell are you?
We do eventually find out that he really is a creep, so I'm assuming he was lying about that. But I have no evidence to back this theory up. It is just a theory.
When do we find out he's? Oh yeah! I forgot the whole movie. I just remember that he beats somebody to death with a trophy.
Oh God!
We see them for 4 seconds, and then
Oh, God,
and
it's
then
so-
we get into a scene that has nothing to do with.
Be right back. talent. Give me luck. Or you're probably AFK.
Alright, luck given.
No, okay, thank you. Best auto whip. So 1 out of 512. This feels like it should be my Brad and Bubba, bruh.
Anything else that
But
ever happens
I'm
in
at
film,
300 so far.
And this
so
looks
not,
like some gang out of like Escape from New York.
not late
Yeah.
yet.
This whole scene is like something they're fighting.
They got trash can lids. We were calling them the garbage pail kids.
Yeah.
That's their gang name.
That's their gang name.
It's got that 80s, like the wardrobe is all sort of like bad 80s apocalyptic sci-fi almost.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, slowly walk towards his kick.
What the fuck?
Wait, who?
Come on, you! What do you think you're doing? Get him!
And this is the reshoot, and it just makes the movie so much more confusing because this is happening, and then
With lots of pickup shots of people saying, "Get him!"
That's it! Tear him up! Get this son of a bitch!
And you don't
all
see
the
that
shots are
person
so
at all.
disconnected from each other.
Yeah.
But you need a giant, large action scene to open your movie with.
Even if you don't know what's happening or who anybody is.
What?
He's using his shoes.
He didn't have to because the guy didn't get anywhere near him with that thing.
He's catching Chinese stars in his shoes.
Oh my god!
Everybody get him now!
Standing there.
They're just standing in a
This is
circle.
amazing.
Remember that scene in Last Jedi?
It's like the throne room.
They're waiting.
But that cliche of like, yeah, there's a group of, gang guys in an action movie that are coming after our hero, but they come after him one at a time. Usually you just see, the bad guy like run into frame. Here we're getting like overhead shots of evereverybody just standing there.
It's like they're at the deli and they have their number, and they're waiting for their number to be called.
Yeah.
Number 22.
Oh, okay.
Kicking the balls.
It very much seems like moves that aren't designed to be like Hollywood-style kung fu moves.
True.
It seems like they're doing moves you would teach to like a woman for self-defense purposes, because half of their moves involve grabbing somebody's balls.
A lot of ball
Yes,
grabbing.
there's so many hits in this movie.
That's true.
This movie should have been called Twisted Pair.
The movies are very competent. The camera work is just shoddy, but the editing is interesting. So that kick off the motorcycle is like, and then the guy gets knocked off.
It's like Liam Neeson trying to jump over a fence.
Oh yeah, with like 20 edits.
Yeah. It's a 1 second sequence, and it's, there's like 25 edits.
We take free private lessons. Right. That's to determine your attention span, basic balance, and coordination. At the end of that time, our chief instructor will evaluate him, and we will
What am I supposed to be getting out of this scene?
It's like 3 different things going on. A very sterile phone call. Erotic karate posing. And a bookshelf. Love alive. Our brains have to process this and a Neil Breen movie all in.
Oh my god.
Yeah, can we talk about that? That's my favorite scene in the movie is the awkward, boring, droll phone conversation while sexy karate is happening in the background.
So
and I think he's supposed to be like, ooh, she's doing sexy karate. But he's just drolly talking on the phone about like, yeah, we're open.
We can
8 p.m.
I think that's supposed to be a contrast, though. Like he's trying to have the business call, but he's distracted.
No, we don't teach kung fu. We teach karate.
I think he's talking to a kid's parent because he's like, no, don't go to that level yet. Like, they need to learn this first.
Says we teach karate, not kung fu.
It's all so weird. And then, like, because we're seeing him, and then there's a mirror in the foreground, so we see her in the reflection of the mirror. But she's just like in like an empty void. Like the lighting is so bad, it looks like she's just floating in space.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
So this leads in, he takes off and then leaves her still at the studio or the dojo, and then the rival gang break in.
We think. Is it ever explained that they're from a rival gang?
Yes, I think so. I don't.
Our
know.
hero assumes that because the rival
Yes.
gang guy said something like, I'm gonna get you, one of those types of things.
They break in, and then you're thinking, oh god, this is gonna be a rape scene because it's from the 80s.
Then she kicks their asses.
She handles herself really
She kicks
well.
their asses.
Yeah.
The important thing is he tracks the perpetrator down after the cops have already surrounded the perpetrator.
Yes.
And so then he shoves one of the cops out of the way.
I think he kicks the
so
cop.
he kicks the cop out of the way so he can kick this guy's ass.
The cops are just gonna let him do this?
Did he kick a cop? And the police don't do anything about it.
They all just stand there watching with their guns drawn. And that disco is great too because the table and chairs that are in there, it looks like a mall food court.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the art on the walls makes it look like a roller rink, but I guess it's a disco.
Oh God, I wanna say this. Everything is ugly.
Yeah.
Like literally every piece of clothing, every hairstyle, every
person,
bit of fashion, every wall decoration, every bit of architecture, everything is disgustingly ugly.
Every mustache.
Yeah.
And it's
so
just,
many
it's
mustaches.
also just lit horribly too. It's just like a big spotlight behind the camera.
Yeah, you could have this, like some weird remaster of this where it's like remastered in 4K and you'd watch it again and just be like, ew.
What is this? Who's in the wheelchair? What is happening? Is that his wife now?
I guess this is his wife.
Is it worth wondering?
Why isn't the wife dying catalyst for the revenge fuel? I'm gonna kick everybody.
We find out the lead character's wife was murdered, and we keep
Oh,
having
God.
flashbacks to that. So is it implied that the rival school guy was responsible?
No,
for...
it
That is
never
not
is.
implied.
It's never implied.
So it's just
No,
a random
it's
murder.
just a thing. It's just the background for this character that doesn't pay off in any way. Well, first we flash back to him discovering his wife's dead body,
Right.
and then we flash back after that to them like frolicking on horses, which is like, no, you do the reverse of that.
Yeah.
We have to see them together, and then he discovers her dead. And you put this at the beginning of the movie instead of just randomly dropping it somewhere in the middle of the film.
Or just don't have it
with
at
no
all.
rhyme or reason.
It doesn't factor into
I
the plot
hate
at all.
this
He's got a kind of vengeful
area.
spirit about him because he goes after that one guy.
He probably just has a Napoleon complex, right?
Possibly.
I'm pissed off that I'm so tiny.
Yeah, you would know.
I'm pissed off that I'm so tiny.
Just shoot him. Just shoot him.
Don't use that cutaway.
Or use the cutaway and add sound. Not one or the other.
So after a few like fights,
You kind of end up at this karate competition.
yeah. So someone
The
he
big
wins.
karate competition that we haven't been building towards and hasn't really been mentioned. I
Yeah,
don't think.
it's just a thing that's happening.
Yeah. Frank Zappa, Donald Sutherland.
The director.
Yeah, wins the trophy. He catches the creepy Dom DeLuise guy with his trophy, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
I'll mangle you, you turd.
I mean, it's a very like believable like murder scene.
Especially when they cut to him laying on the ground after Dom DeLuise has fled.
Yeah,
and
he's
he has
covered in blood and he's dead.
nothing on his face or head at all.
You didn't let us down. Wait a minute.
Now we got the People's Court theme playing.
He doesn't assume it was Dom DeLuise.
No.
Dom DeLuise did it. The rival karate guy had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and he
But
gets,
he instantly goes
yeah.
after the rival karate
He
guy.
gets
now.
in his Corvette with one other student and sets out to find this guy, and then goes to a barbecue.
All right, Shank. One time only. Where's Hart?
Hart? Who?
What the fuck? Where are we?
He just went to some random barbecue.
Hey, it's Jack the Ripper.
Who?
It's like
What the fuck is happening? mean?
These I'm assuming these are the evil karate guys.
Evil karate guys.
They're all just hanging out on someone's porch?
Yes. Yes.
Running is so funny. Threw a beer bottle on him.
His tiny legs have to move so much faster than a normal person.
Kick him into the water.
Oh, he's getting into the water, definitely.
Yeah, that's production value. Wet clothes.
Oh, don't fight on that shaky dock.
There's some good old boys sitting out on the porch.
They might have had something to do with it.
I'm
Let's beat
sure.
'em up.
They're here.
They go to the park. He beats the shit out of everybody, and then one of the guys just happens to have nunchucks at the barbecue.
Let's go get more revenge.
What?
Someone knock on my door.
That's a total Jack Tripper.
He just drove off? Bert Pesci just leaves in the middle of the fight. Like, the
Yeah.
nunchuck fight is still going on. He's like, I'm going to get my car and leave.
I think this was around the point in the movie where I started to realize that the post-apocalyptic gang from the beginning of the movie just was never coming back.
Yeah.
This is like the entire second half of the movie.
Which is the
Christ.
best
It's,
part.
it's the most epic car chase.
This is insane.
Oh my God.
Whoa, not the fruit stand.
You know, there's the occasional like mini ramp, which is hidden by
Those
a
are
big
very
hedge,
exciting.
where it's just
Or like a fruit booth, just like in the middle of a field.
That's made out of cardboard.
Cardboard and like trash
boxes.
Like it goes on and escalates.
But one of my favorite parts about that is when they get to the big city and you can just see masses of people on the corners watching the film shoot.
Yeah. Well, it has that feel like it was shot in Ohio.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle of
Akron?
Ohio.
Akron, Ohio?
Yeah. You see Akron. You see like Cuyahoga Karate School or something.
Yeah.
So different areas of Ohio.
But
And it has that
looks
kind
like
of.
they put a lot of effort into the environments and things like that.
Well,
just in terms of shooting and shooting time, but
Yeah.
it just ends up like garbage.
Well, I was gonna say it feels like that kind of like the small town, like all bands together, like, hey, we're gonna make a movie. And
Yeah.
But
that was
then-
probably in the front page of the newspaper several times.
Yeah, it's like local karate school.
Local
makes-
filmmakers have car chase through the middle of town.
Oh, God,
they
we
drove
gotta-
35 miles an hour.
Big Hollywood production.
It's the most exciting thing to happen in Ohio since that river caught on fire.
Jesus. On the DVD itself, it says shot on location entirely shot on location in LA.
It does? It is not shot in L.A.
Yeah, it's just like Jon Favreau's Jungle Book.
Where was it? Filmed entirely on location in Los Angeles.
Well, that's
That is
a bold-faced lie.
I can
Stinking lie.
explain this because the footage looks like shit, right?
Yeah.
So they filmed the movie in Akron, Ohio, and then they put it on like a VHS tape. They flew that to LA. They put it on a TV, and then they filmed the TV in LA. So the whole movie was shot in LA.
That's brilliant.
Hey.
Oh my God, it's flying.
Holy shit.
Fuck! Oh, they ruined that bet.
What a waste.
Oh no, he's just gonna run away.
Just gonna
on
run
foot.
away. Good thing his mustache protected him from head trauma. It's like his afro.
Just stealing motorcycles now.
He's got
Ooh,
this,
look at that old school
He's got
Arby's.
this baby blue velour lounge suit on, and he's got like a karate suit and an afro. And they're on motorbikes. What did they crash the cars and then they run and find these guys? They kick people off motorcycles and then
Oh yeah, and then it keeps going.
We're into a motorcycle chase, and they are driving so slow at points. Like
The one that's chasing the other could have just gotten off his motorcycle and just ran up to him.
The Bert Pesci guy is constantly wiping out on the bike, like he can't control it. But
He just
I mean, I don't
sucks.
know who could if you're not a stunt driver and driving a motorcycle through water.
Oh my God!
Oh, be careful! You're fucking drone.
They're chasing each other through a waterfall.
They like end up in the Antarctic.
Whoa. Hit the camera. He's so funny.
Like driving past polar bears.
He fell over again.
Oh, they both fell over.
Oh, okay.
The bad guy should really just say, "Why are you chasing
Why are you
me?"
chasing me?
Let's discuss this.
Why?
This is kind of romantic, though. Like, there's
Give me your hand. He hits velour tracksuit guy, and then I guess he falls off a cliff. It's really it's the most awkward edit in the world because he hits him.
No, isn't he like holding out his hand?
You guys are missing the chainsaw fight.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Wait, he's got a chainsaw.
Oh, he's got a chainsaw!
Holy shit!
It's just running.
Oh shit!
It's just running in the background.
I mean, no, you saw smoke.
Oh yeah! Holy shit!
Crazy.
These guys are fucking nuts.
Oh my God!
It's like the end of Mandy.
Well, we thought it was like a fake chainsaw.
It flies out of his hand at one point and hits the ground, and you can see the smoke and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's an axe on the ground.
Oh
Why is all
my
these
God!
shit? Why is all this shit in the woods? Guess he's gonna find a gun.
They're like really going at it.
Oh, I guess he fell on the top.
Screw you.
Yay!
Oh, I fell on my keys. We didn't even have a little moment.
That was so awkward.
He probably actually died. And threw him off the...
They just worked that into the movie as an excuse.
This is the distributor's like, here's another 10,000. Kill someone.
Well, he does end up going to jail, so maybe the rest of the movie is just a documentary. I don't know.
Can I say I love that he goes to jail? There's so many movies where the movie's over and I'm wondering, how the hell did this not end in like a 5-year-long legal battle?
Yeah, there's no consequences usually.
Like every movie where a ghost kills somebody, who's getting the blame for those murders? Like when you just tell the cops it was the ghost?
It's like,
no, it was the pumpkin demon, officer. You're coming with me. Your friends are all dead. You're the only survivor. Yeah, come on.
What happened?
Well, $500 fine, suspended sentence.
What?
$500 fine and a suspended sentence.
For killing a man?
The children are applauding.
Grand theft. 2 counts of grand theft auto and 1 count of manslaughter. That's just $500.
$500. Yeah, so it's a big celebration, no smoking. And then Donald Sutherland shows up again, and he's not
thought
dead.
he was dead,
He's
yeah.
got like a neck brace and like
an
he's all
arm
messed
cast.
It's very comical. He's like O.J. Simpson in The Naked Gun, where he's just like, just keeps getting injured.
I just really wanted them to all light up cigarettes, including the kids, and just.
And then the whole building just explodes, because why not?
Yeah. Which is why the no smoking sign was put there in the first place.
Yeah.
Flammable karate school.
That was the alternate title for the film.
Flammable karate school.
Flammable karate school. I want to make that movie now.
It's next to the turpentine factory.
For the first time in my life, I'm not full of fear. 'Cause I know I can trust you.
For a karate school instructor this is probably the first and last film he ever made.
Well, he killed a guy on set. Of course it's the last movie he ever made.
It'll be the first and last wig he ever wears.
That's probably not true.
I love like she pulls her face away and she's wearing his mustache.
Why is this shot so far away?
God.
I mean, I'm
Then I
glad it
kiss
is.
again and she pulls away. She's wearing his hair.
Through Doohan.
Our next film is Through Dead Eyes, starring Star Trek's James Doohan.
Scotty from
Star Trek. That's the whole thing, is starring Star Trek's James Doohan, a.k.a. Scotty from Star Trek. That's the full credit.
I'll show you a James Doohan.
Rich! Explain through dead eyes.
Yeah. Through Dead Eyes, as obvious from the cover here, stars James Doohan, Star Trek Scotty.
Yeah.
And he plays a guy who shows up twice in the film.
He plays guy in chair.
They filmed him at home on his easy chair. Our actual star, who looks like several different people.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell.
David Tennant.
And Matthew Perry.
Yeah. With no talent.
My friend is dead.
Well, he's a terrible actor, and the character is a terrible, terrible person, as we'll soon find out. Because he has to team up with a psychic to stop a string of serial killings against her will.
A blind psychic.
A blind psychic.
This is an order from Chief of Police Earl Pratt. It says that I'm to bring you in for questioning.
This is a movie about a detective who takes a blind psychic, he kidnaps her, brings her to his apartment, won't let her leave for days until she agrees to help him.
Handcuffs her and gags her and leaves her laying on the floor of his apartment.
And then they fall in love. She gets Stockholm syndrome.
He yells at her.
I will stop it. Why won't you help me?
He emotionally abuses her.
He's very demanding.
Oh, he lies to her. He says he's gonna take her to the police station.
No! I'm so damn sorry. I'm so damn scared.
Instead, he takes her to the morgue
To make her touch a corpse.
so he can force her to touch a dead body.
Yeah, come in with me, you blind woman!
You're gonna touch that car?
Come with me, I'm gonna make you touch that car! Do it! Do it!
Doesn't look like a morgue. She's having a stroke.
What's happening? She's being choked. She's experiencing the death.
Yeah, I get it. Ow, my boobs.
Oh my God!
This is embarrassing.
My clairvoyance tells me she was killed.
She's like, she's clairvoyant and she also does charades.
You've been strangled.
Well, that's her whole thing is, she can touch someone and then she has visions of
how they died.
Of how they died or whatever, so yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a killer loose that is terrorizing the town.
Yeah.
And
No,
she
just
keeps
walk.
having
Stop
encounters with this killer. We
losing
also get to
them.
see the killer who's coming up,
Freaking
and
dickhole.
the killer's trademark is
Sure.
crushing someone's throat,
Yeah.
choking them to death.
He's unnaturally strong.
Obviously, the killer is a man.
A woman is too weak.
A woman is too weak.
The movie makes it very clear women have no strength.
All four were strangled by a male believed to be very strong. Their throats were crushed. That takes better than average hand strength, and it rules out a woman as the killer.
The one thing we know for absolutely sure is that our killer has to be a man.
Yeah.
So we know it's a man.
With an eye patch, no less.
Well, yeah, the killer's wearing. It's very. I think I don't know who this guy. I looked him up. He only directed this one movie, but I think he's influenced by like Dario Argento, like Italian giallo stuff. Because the killer has like the black gloves, which is a staple of those. Some of the death scenes are very like stylized. Like the lighting gets like colorful and weird, and then he's wearing the killer, who's definitely a man, is wearing a mask with an eye patch on it, and James Doohan is also wearing an eye patch. So there's that connection.
That's never explained why he has an eye patch.
Because red herring.
Because red herring,
Why he's wearing
James Doohan has an eye patch.
It's because his face is a mask.
No, it's not a mask.
Are you saying it's not really James Doohan? It's somebody in a James Doohan mask?
It's actually George Takei.
Just put a James Doohan mask on. James Doohan.
We need someone more famous, like James Doohan.
Oh God.
There's been another killing like before.
But so what? I'm retired.
Oh my
Oh
God.
God, he's so bad.
There was such a long pause.
He had to remember his line.
Our detective, he goes to visit him because
Well, he was the detective
was the
on the
original.
case 8 years ago. The killings have started again now.
Yeah, he never caught the killer, and the newspaper made a point of mocking him horribly and calling him a failure.
In the newspaper article, there's a picture of James Doohan, which is a promotional picture from Star Trek. And it says, distinguished career ends in failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And James Doohan in this movie He's amazing. He gives the performance of a lifetime.
His first scene is so embarrassing.
It's so bad.
Leave us alone. My wife is upstairs and she has a weak heart. And for God's sakes, leave me alone.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It's so
We thought he was
bad.
because he's like he comes to the door and he's like he looks like an insane person, but he's doing this like gruff voice and we're like, is that him trying to? Because he's like, my wife is sleeping upstairs, and we're like, is that him trying to like whisper?
Yeah.
But he talks like that through the whole movie, so I guess not.
I don't know. You almost imagine he assumed it was like a pirate movie because he was wearing an eye
Yeah,
patch.
exactly.
You know what's strange? James Doohan in this, he just made me realize how good Cameron Mitchell is when he phones in his scenes.
That's what I want to mention in relation to talking about like Italian movies too. Is a lot of them will have like for a couple of scenes they'll have like John Saxon or like Cameron Mitchell, and then so this movie's version of that, where you cast the name celebrity in a small part because it should be Cameron Mitchell really.
Or you could see it as James, like this movie shows just how good James Doohan is at being Scotty.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Miles away.
Well, you know what? James Doohan did not give a shit.
Does that hard cut to him looking miserable?
Rich, you guys have the same shirt.
I'm not saying that James Doohan is a terrible actor. I'm saying in this, he did not give a shit.
I think he's trying, but he's just really bad.
The whole thing made me afraid. Me, afraid.
He was just really tired.
There's like certain times where he's kind of going for it, but he just doesn't have the talent.
Yeah?
Like, I don't think he's good.
You don't think he just didn't like glance down at the lines 5 minutes before they shot?
Yeah.
And he's like, ah.
He does spend most of the movie in a chair, and that's clearly a sign that he doesn't give a shit.
But yeah, so he's a gruff old crabby man.
And he plays a character that's a gruff old crabby man.
But this led to the great debate during the screening of this film. We have a movie that is a murder mystery, and we have 3 characters.
There's no red herrings because there's no other characters.
2 of our characters appear to be the protagonists.
True. Right.
So who is the killer?
Until we're introduced to the woman who owns the costume shop.
Yeah, well, that's jumping ahead quite a bit.
Oh,
I guess
sorry.
that's okay because nothing else happens in the movie. But yeah, an hour into the movie, we meet, because he goes to the costume shop to see if they have the mask that the killer is wearing.
Well, do they know it's a mask? The clairvoyant?
Sees
the clairvoyant, the psychic, can see the final thing that the murdered victim sees.
Right. She's looking through dead eyes.
The dead bodies that our hero forces her to touch.
Oh God!
So they
more than once.
Completely,
That's
totally
true.
against her will.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And then she starts doing the
Oh, her overacting.
yeah, she's like and and.
She overacts being distressed and traumatized, and then our detective overacts being an asshole.
Yeah.
Which really makes this an uncomfortable movie to watch.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Please stop it. You scream, okay? What the hell is she gonna say about that, huh? Stop it!
True. There's that quality of the clairvoyant actress when there's a knock at the door and she opens the door and she looks right at the person who's arrived at the door, and then the rest of the scene she's like,
Yeah. At a certain point in the scene, I think you can see the moment she realizes, oh, I'm supposed to be blind, and she looks away. But yeah, like because her character is kind of under distress until she falls in love with him for no reason, but it comes across almost like she's being forced to act in this movie against her will.
Yeah.
Our psychic, she has 2 clearly defined powers. She can see the last images of a dead body.
If she touches it.
Or if somebody's about to die, she sees what they look like when they
see their death mask.
She can see their
as he calls
death
it.
mask.
Yeah.
The twist. It leads to the twist of the movie, because whenever she touches Detective, the reason she falls in love with him is because she sees that they're cuddling.
Yeah, they're
and
together.
They're together and they're peaceful. Oh, this will work out nicely. Completely forgetting how her own psychic powers work. Like you can see the twist of this movie coming a mile away.
But every time
it's such a dark ending, you just assume they won't go there, because What screenwriter in his right mind would kill off a really sympathetic, distressed psychic character?
She may be clairvoyant, but I don't know how bright she is because when she does see like the death masks, or sorry, them cuddling, they're cuddling in like dark dead soil.
Yeah, they're on soil. They're just lying.
Everything's gonna work out just fine.
They're lying on the ground.
Here's our peaceful future.
Maybe we're gonna live on a farm or something.
Yeah, we're camping.
In a suit and fancy dress.
Yeah.
So the only reason she falls in love with him is because she has visions of them being happy together, but she's really just seeing their dead bodies.
Yes.
With a mixture of Stockholm syndrome.
Right. Yeah. So then the detective visits the costume store, and like we mentioned, this is the first time we see this old lady, and she just happens to have the exact murder mask.
Who do you want to be? Warlock? Or how about the Tin Man? You'd make a fine Tin Man. Or detective? Detective Sam Spade. Secret agent, perhaps.
I am a detective.
That's the director's wife. That's the only excuse for this.
I've been dressing people up
This nonsense.
If they were to do a reboot of this, I would cast Tilda Swinton in her role.
Ooh. You could cast Tilda Swinton in every role. It's like Suspiria.
In this movie?
She'd be
She's
James
so
Doohan.
good.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's right.
She played an old man in
That's true.
Suspiria. She could do it. I'd watch an all Tilda Swinton version of Through Dead Eyes.
She has to watch like years and years of Star Trek to get down the character.
She's wearing a green sock on one of her fingers so they can digitally remove it.
No, she actually enlists in the military and goes to war and loses one of her fingers in battle.
There's a nice cute touch when they go into the costume store, and the first thing you see on the wall on the right-hand side when they go in are completely inaccurate Star Trek uniforms.
I think that was, I don't even think that was an Easter egg. I think those were probably just there.
Is there a William Shatner mask, or was that a joke?
Star Trek. I missed it.
Yeah. What if they have the Mike Myers mask?
Oh.
I bet you James Doohan was like, I don't want a fucking Shatner mask in that store.
But he wanted the
He wasn't on
Starfleet
set when
uniforms?
they filmed that. He was on set for one day.
It was probably
No, it wasn't a set. It was his living room.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
It's an eye patch.
It's more like a pocket belly or
She did it. And she seems odd and off, and she's probably the killer.
Well, it turns out she's the killer, and she's also James Doohan's wife.
It is her. Oh, God.
She's the costume star.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Oh my God. Oh God. Anytime my character talks about their wife, and for multiple scenes you don't
never
see
see
her.
them.
I think he's just embarrassed to talk about his wife because she works in a costume store.
And also she's a murderer.
This is how
And
you...
she's embarrassed to talk about him because she's
James-
married to
James-
Star Trek Scotty.
That's terrible.
Look, she's lording it over Walter Koenig's wife.
Did she have any family? Family? Would family let a girl paint her face like an Indian? Would family let a young and attractive girl wear jeans so tight? That's the problem. There are no restraints. No one holds back.
This is amazing.
Are you his girlfriend?
Are you a slut?
The slut strangler.
You'll have to take my word.
She looks like Dana Carvey in The Master of Disguise as the turtle.
But then, yeah, that's when we discover she's the stupid mask,
Yeah.
and it's comical once she puts it on.
Yeah, and then she uses her Darth Vader hands and
Yeah,
chokes,
she's
chokes the
unnaturally-
clairvoyant to death.
I'm right here. Toxic Avenger is shaking me.
It's not explained at all. She's unnaturally strong, and at one point the detective breaks in or comes into his, and she throws him across the room into the wall.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where does she get the strength from?
Who'd have thought this movie would end with a with a healthy young man struggling to beat up James Doohan's elderly wife.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Hit her with a Lipton tea bag.
Drown her in the sink. Yeah! But the psychic says, no, wait, stop. I don't see her death mask. She isn't allowed to die.
She's not going to die, I guess.
Right.
Even if you continue to drown her?
So she only sees the death of, you know...
The two of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she's burying two bodies in the daytime.
In the cemetery.
And every time it cuts to them, it's like clearly night with like bad lighting. like,
Did there just happen to be like a freshly dug grave? Like there's a headstone.
It was in the dream too. The tombstone is aged beyond belief. It looks like it's been there for 100 years.
Maybe she dug up a previous corpse.
Maybe she dug up her own corpse.
What?
There's a tombstone there that's clearly like
been there for a while. She's dug up
hundreds
a
of
grave.
years, and there's like a new hole, like a new grave dug.
She probably just tossed it somewhere.
Broad daylight.
Out the window of a moving car.
Broad daylight.
The previous body is directly under them.
Hey.
She didn't dig all the way.
There you go.
Okay.
You fixed the plot.
There you go.
This movie is flawless when you think about it.
They've thought of everything.
So the grave she dug is 4 feet under. And after she's done her cemetery duties, she arrives back home.
This is the exciting moment where James Doohan has the gun, which is on the back of the box.
You swore to me. I protected you, and you swore you'd stop.
They were in love.
What about the others? Were they in love?
They would have been. They would have been in love.
God. And this acting scene between the two of them is they're really.
It's a combination of somebody overacting and somebody just wanting to nap.
Loved you.
Like who said it should have been a John Waters movie?
Yeah, her performance in that scene is I think Mike mentioned that. It's like something right out of a John Waters film. It's beautiful.
Our love is a perfect thing. A perfect thing in the eyes of God. Those others were sinners, and they've been cleansed. We are a perfect thing in God's eyes. In my eyes. Go home to your mother. Doesn't she ever watch you? Tell her this isn't some communist daycare center.
It's camp. Pure camp.
It becomes pure camp. Most of the movie is kind of dull. Like, it's not horrible. It's dull and it's stupid. But her performance in that scene really pushes it over
Like
the
it
edge.
should have been a creep show bit.
Yeah.
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 This whole story should have been a shorter creep show bit.
So.
Maybe she shouldn't have worn those glasses. or married James Doohan.
Beam me up.
Like we've just spent like an hour and a half discussing the first two movies,
Oh, no.
and we're gonna trim the
ape-
fuck out of
an
that
ape
because we're gonna
this
talk about
giant
Green
snake at the
now.
camera.
I don't know if there's as much to talk about with this movie as there has been in the past. This is almost like, okay, now we get it a little bit.
It's probably the most coherent Neil Breen movie we've ever gotten. You know what?
Is that sarcasm?
No!
No, it
I
is.
vaguely know what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
He's blossoming as a storyteller, Neil Breen.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying this movie, Neil Breen is becoming the best storyteller that Neil Breen can be.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
I think Neil Breen's brain needs to be donated to science
Yeah, they need to study him.
while he's still alive.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I was only saying what every 48 seconds.
Yeah. it's
AI will reach a level of self-awareness, and able to consider complicated thoughts, and have sensations. The final human invention, AI, artificial intelligence.
Thank you for clearing that up.
You know, they say like films are kind of like a look into the filmmaker's mind.
Yeah.
In some respect, and you just look into this, it's just madness.
Yeah.
Like you could go mad, you could drive yourself crazy, looking for answers.
The Force's advancements in AI far surpassed anything on Earth. As a personally robotic humanoid state. Synthetic brain power.
I have no brain power.
Well, Twisted Pair is a movie about Kale and Cade, two twins.
Kato Kalen? What?
Kale and Cade.
Okay.
Two brothers who I think were abducted by aliens and turned into some kind of AI human hybrid.
Twisted Pair.
No.
Kale. Why haven't you contacted?
That appears amazing.
That's pretty good.
Which I don't even, right off the bat, I don't understand.
We're about at 400 abyssal demon kills out of
some alien intelligence.
512.
AI
I don't think he
One out of
understands what
512.
AI
No, he doesn't. The aliens,
Yeah.
the aliens took him and his twin brother, who was also him,
Right.
when they were young, and like turned them into super AIs, but they're also still human. So they're humanoid.
you just say humanoid.
Yeah, he refers to himself as humanoid.
Even though a humanoid is something that resembles a human being.
Well, that describes Neil Breen. Did you see his hair?
Yeah.
That is not human hair.
No, that's gorilla hybrid humanoid.
They transplanted. That's something they didn't mention in the movie. Is that the aliens transplanted gorilla hair onto his head?
It's dry straw.
Here's the interesting thing about this movie.
The best part is the best performance in the movie is his hair in the scene where the wind is blowing.
It's so tense because you don't know if the hair is gonna blow off his head or not.
Yeah. I can't take it.
It's just, oh God, the hair is just struggling to stay on his head.
It's gonna blow down the street like a newspaper.
The movie's called Twisted Pair. I always imagine like if you're gonna, that person's really twisted. It's like they go strangling cats or something at night. That's an example.
That's Neil Breen's autobiography.
No, but that's like an example of someone that's twisted. But in this movie, they're both just kind of boring assholes. They're just boring. Like, what is this guy doing? He's going to community college every night and wandering around.
And sneaking around.
In the context of the movie, it's not a community college, though.
No, in my context,
in the context of the movie, it's a restaurant. It's a government building.
It's an alleyway.
It's an alleyway, and it's all just on that same front step area.
No, it's a universe that is entirely comprised of abandoned community college campuses. It's the entire universe this movie takes place in.
Okay.
Because at one point they show the background and there's two fucking moons.
You are so incredibly brilliant. You mean the world to me.
What planet is this on?
It's like the end of Mandy.
Yeah, it's really weird. Except that's in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just
that one shot that's never commented on again.
Discussed.
Maybe it's like a metaphor for Twisted Pair.
I mean, that is, the parallel. And I will say, this is his most Lynchian film.
Oh my God.
There's lots of like surreal, like there's the part with, what's the...
I think David Lynch would say no.
I'll be right here.
Bullshit. Total fucking bullshit.
What's the villain's name that changes actors at one point? Coos.
Right.
But he goes to Coos' house and it's like a mansion.
Coos is very Lynchian, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all that stuff where it's like there's a woman
changing
wearing butterfly wings or something.
And he has this like artificially lowered voice.
Yeah, they fuck with his voice. That all feels very
And he's
like...
constantly touching his diamond.
Ah, so you come highly recommended. So you're interested in my special art.
The camera's
Are we
on.
rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling, Neil. Mr. Breen, we're rolling.
Yes, I'm interested.
He's got a bowl
He's
of
constantly petting his diamonds. It's not even just like stroking them. It's not
costume jewelry.
Yeah, he has a bowl of
Plastic
plastic
garbage,
diamonds
dollar store diamonds.
that he carries around with him everywhere.
Kuz's empire is planning the takeover of the Earth.
And then he also has 3 sentient ceramic cats.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, so that, and then also the idea that there's the doppelganger thing. That's a repeated thing in David Lynch's stuff.
Yeah. There's something weird about those cats because they keep rotating.
They keep changing
And you know
like
that-
configuration.
It reminds me. I just wonder if Neil Breen like heard about that thing that happened in that museum. I think it was in Britain or something. And there was this. I don't know if it was a cat statue, but there was a statue, and security cameras would capture it rotating occasionally.
Ooh. That's
and then they
creepy.
come in the next day and they'd see it like rotated like 90 degrees or something.
Was Neil Breen behind it?
No, it turned out it was like construction or something outside. But
Oh,
I
just
almost wonder if
vibration
that's
of
where he got the idea.
And
But
Zach Baggins
Yeah.
came in and did a show on it.
They edited out the construction noise across the street.
Big jackhammers.
It's like for Neil Breen's next movie. I wonder if those cats are on eBay right now.
Oh, crowdfunding.
But there is the dual sort of thing going on with the two brothers.
Who am I?
Who am I? What am I?
What's happened to us?
And then you have the two brothers sort of, love scenes. And
Well, they have parallel lives.
they have parallel lives
Yeah.
and they have parallel love interests. And the first one is him or following a woman to her house.
This is really creepy.
Well, he bumps into her in front of the homeless man and his rubber rats.
Yeah, that would be great.
No.
Yeah.
Those are fake rubber rats.
Wait, what?
The rubber rats.
Rubber rats next to the
It's supposed to look like a filthy alley,
Yeah, the
so he
scene
put
called for a
rubber
dark
rats.
alley.
That's his friends. That's the homeless man's friends.
Oh, Jesus. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
I got it.
No. Here, let me get that for you.
Shoot.
Wait, it's my fault. It's my fault, really.
Give me my
I
papers.
apologize.
Leave me alone.
Let me make
Leave
it up to you.
No.
He acts like he
Well,
just
that's
met
the
her,
point.
and he's being a real fucking creeper
Yeah.
who won't leave her alone.
He's like, no, hey, you want to go out for a drink? And she's like, leave me alone, you creep, whatever. And then she walks home and he starts following her.
I'm gonna hurt you now. You're mine now. I'll teach you to ignore me. You were supposed to meet me at 8. Bitch. You can't fight me.
Why is that painting there?
This looks like a scene from Three's Company.
Bitch.
Is this real? Is this really happening?
It turns out it's just a game they were playing.
But then it gets even worse. He kind
Yeah,
of
but
attacks
before
her.
that, yeah, he attacks her and she smashes like a painting over his head.
How often do they role play, and how many paintings has she broken over his head?
Maybe he called her beforehand and said, did you make that painting out of balsa wood and painting frame and because I want you to hit me over the head with it. And then I'm gonna call you bitch 3 times.
Bitch.
You don't know.
Is it
because
part of the appeal that they have to pretend to not know each other in front of homeless people?
I guess.
Is that a part of it?
Yeah,
Who knows?
and in front of rubber rats.
Rubber rats. So he's 2 rubber rats by the homeless guy, and we don't know, is the homeless guy crazy and just has these rubber rats, or is Neil Breen using them as props?
Thinks they're supposed to be.
They're
This is
pretending that they're supposed to be real
In his
rats.
mind, that scene is like a filthy alleyway.
Right.
That's the idea.
But
That's
it's
how
a very clean community college
But
campus.
it's the front steps of the community college where the entire fucking movie is filmed.
The very new community college they just built last year, and it's pristine.
Yeah.
Here's the money I got from the hit.
Give me the package.
That's our damn money.
Get away from me. Oh,
This is for both of us.
gosh.
Was he trying to do some weird contrast with his evil side?
Well, we get that contrast because we get a really similar scene with Cade.
Kale.
And they're like passing out drugs
Kale, like
and
what a
stuff
vegetarian would eat, which makes it evil.
Like that. But they have like a weird fight scene, but it's real because they're both strung out on drugs apparently.
What the hell are you doing?
I don't even want you anymore. All I want is the drugs and the money.
Straighten up. We're both fucked up.
I don't care. I don't want you anymore.
pushes her off the bed. This comic slapstick, like roll
He
off the
smacks
bed.
her, and then she just kind of awkwardly rolls off the bed.
Yeah.
But he tries to smack her and then catches some of the wine bottles.
I'm wondering if you actually hear the sound effect, but when she smacks him, she just like catches his hoodie.
But this is like his version of what like an alcoholic, drug-addicted couple relationship would be like.
They just have tons of bottles and pills, like
Lots of
alcohol
wine.
bottles, and yeah, it's like a student film or something.
Yeah,
that scene.
it's like
in every aspect of like whether it's that or other acting aspect. Neil Breen just seems to be like constantly impersonating a human being, as opposed to representing a human being.
Yeah.
I trust you completely.
It's like he doesn't know how to impersonate a human being. It's just
Well,
like,
that's because he's above human beings. That's the running thing through all of his movies is that
That's
he's
true.
here to teach us our
I'm
evil
the weapon.
ways.
I am the weapon.
Yeah, I'm the best that's ever existed.
He's got a messiah complex.
Yeah, I mean that's every one of his movies.
Yeah.
But that's what the weird thing about this is like, is he starting to be conflicted about that, and that's why he developed this other character. The only one that can take down Neil Breen is another Neil Breen.
Well, I'd say that because I thought they were going to have a fight at the end. They never have a fight. What's going on here is like, it's actually kind of interesting, really, because Double Down, he's just the badass.
Yeah.
It's fantasy Neil Breen, and then you get like 2 Pass-Through, the last one we watched.
Yeah.
And he still thinks very highly of himself, but like the crazy has started to creep in.
I've eliminated 300 million humans from the planet today. In human terms, I have killed them all. These were humans that were harmful to other humans.
He takes a dark turn in that movie where he just comes across as a guy who wants to see the world burn.
Right. Yeah.
And in here, in Twisted Pair, it's like he started to become self-aware of that.
Yeah.
And so he took all of the negative aspects of his own personality that he's developing. And it's like, that's just a separate character
He's
now.
trying to like exercise it.
He's trying. It's like he's trying to exercise his crazier thoughts.
425. It's like Superman 3, where he has like the evil version.
I am never
He's
lucky.
not self-aware as a filmmaker.
No.
Yeah.
But it's like he's becoming self-aware that he's crazy.
Forever not lucky.
Well, he does have the Messiah complex, but in Pass-Through as well as this movie, he also has apparently a real connection to animals.
While developing further and further in a humanoid state over the years. Never
Is he supposed to be petting
Yes.
us?
Look, he's nuzzling.
He's touching the stump.
He's nuzzling.
Because he's petting the stuff.
But not enough of one to actually be there with the animal.
Yeah,
He's just badly
I think more than that, he has a connection to green screen.
Yeah, he has a bit.
Good morning. Have a nice day.
He uses a lot of stock footage that he kind of integrates himself into.
A lot. I mean, that was what stood out to me the most in this movie. Is it's like he just discovered Shutterstock.com.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like he just discovered that stock footage is a thing that exists.
Yeah, like the army guys, where he's like,
Oh,
go
yeah.
that way.
Which has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. I guess it's just to establish that he is like a savior.
Follow me. They can't hurt me. You won't get hurt. Follow me.
He has to be self-aware at this point, right?
That is a question that we all cannot answer.
This is too much. He's overplayed his hand.
No.
Rich, you underestimate crazy.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Whoa! Well, he's the super badass made by the aliens to be super badass, and then he works with some kind of agency that he may or may not be the head of, and the aliens may or may not be a head of, to fight all of the evil in the world.
Yeah,
Which his brother was also created to fight all of the evil in the world, but didn't do it quite so good.
And then had his powers removed, and then became an
But
alcoholic
his
drug
brother,
addict.
even though isn't good at fighting evil, still fights evil by kidnapping corporate guys who are very just blunt and honest about the evil things they do.
Yeah. Oh, I knew this was going to come back to bite it.
The stolen cars.
Millions embezzled from charities.
All the politicians we've been paying off.
Oh, we've been paying politicians off for years.
I was getting pass-through flashbacks at that part.
Yeah. And then their corpses multiply.
I think that's just supposed to be other people that he's killed.
We think.
But he just copy-pasted the same 3 people over and over.
Speaking about pasted, there's a lot of like phony mustache.
Yeah, man, and you can see the spirit gum kind of bleeding through.
Well, that's what I was saying. It looks like Scotch tape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's
the
very
light
shiny.
is constantly shining off it, and there's 2 characters. That have the
Oh
same
wait,
mustache.
Mike's not here. It's like Spock.
Oh.
in the mirror universe.
Well, that's the creepy part is you have the other guy, the businessman or whatever with the fake mustache.
Yeah.
And then later we have another character played by the same actor from that scene.
Yeah.
He plays another character later in the movie, and he's wearing clearly that same mustache, which means like they just reused that same disgusting mustache. Like, ew.
He's a master of reusing everything he can.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say Neil Breen doesn't cut out anything. He just reuses stuff to get the movie longer.
Dialogue, scenes, shots,
eagles,
everything he can.
We use the special effects over and over too, like the jump. Even when he's falling down, he jumps up.
And you go back to bed.
Immediately.
This is
and
so
stop. This is how humans go back to bed.
Well, they just collapse.
Oh yeah, that's a great moment where it's like Neil Breen didn't
the
know
way I
that.
want you to.
Like it's like he doesn't even understand what sleep is, because he doesn't. It's not like, oh, I woke up, I'm startled, I'm gonna go back to sleep. It's like he has narcolepsy and he just passes out. It's just like.
Get back here. Do not teleport me. You son of a whore. Okay. Freaking do this now. Please, just don't let me go too much past.
It's like somebody switched his power
Yeah,
off.
sleep
I
now.
just want to not fight.
Do you remember when, like, I don't know, it was like Microsoft or Google, like they tried to have like the chat bot they tried to teach to communicate with people? No, is that Neil Breen?
They should vocalize the little Clippy guy with Neil Breen's voice. It looks like you're having trouble here.
Oh man.
What do you want? How can I help you?
What if you could do like text to speech, but you could get it in like Neil Breen. You could get an article like read to you in Neil Breen's voice.
It'd be great if there was like a novelization of Twisted Pair. I would buy that and read it just to like.
It's just literally you just randomly bang on a keyboard.
No, it's like
It's just separate words. Technology.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
No, the novelization.
Cyborg warfare. Is that a thing?
Biological DNA.
Biological cybernetic warfare. What does he say?
I bought the novelization of Twisted Pair. It just says, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Over and over.
It goes on for like 700 pages.
You would find the novelization of Twisted Pair on Amazon. Be like buy it right away, and you open it up, and it's all lorem ipsum. Anyone? No. Fuck.
I'm ending this.
Where am I?
He sped it up. Look at all the. These are just shots that he already had that he's just using. Again.
Why are my students dropping out?
It is?
He's not the cyber war.
Oh god.
Woo! Here it goes.
That actually looks good. Yeah. It's like it was something. Fucking scraggly hair was flying in the wind.
Not my community college.
Kate Altair. Kate Altair. Oh, thank Christ! So returned. I can't see. I can't wait to see more adventures of Cade.
We didn't understand what happened, buddy.
He didn't have enough material for one movie, but he's coming back for another. Brad Stein played Detective. You did it twice. You copy pasted. Astro Eagle is eagle. Detective.
The eagle gets a credit.
Astro Eagle.
The eagle. Eagle played by Eagle.
Astro gets a credit before Coos does.
Oh my god.
How does an eagle get a credit from Star Wars?
It's in his contract.
The name is Eagle.
Well, that's a good thing. So, or is it a good thing? What is it? The story of Cade returns?
I guess he fell in love with this character that he created for himself because he wants to have him return.
Hey, we all felt.
I just hope.
Who wasn't heartbroken when he had to murder his girlfriend?
Oh yeah, right.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they shot each other.
It was only business.
What?
Had to do it.
Right. That's like Romeo and Juliet.
Bitch. Good thing this lazy boy's here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should pull from our camera another.
Let me
frame
die on
painting.
the chair, bitch. Bitch.
But it's already been established that he's like a super being, and that.
Did you say a super being or a super breeing?
Being, super being.
Super breeing?
Super
Really?
breeing.
He's a super breed.
But he can't be killed, so she tries to shoot him.
Yeah, but a sequel could be good. What, you know,
We have so many unanswered questions.
if Neil Breen's watching, I just hope that you film it at Nevada State College again. I hope the sequel is like full of like the classrooms are full of students, just like who is this guy and what is he doing? It's like him doing a lecture about making blockbusters.
Except he wasn't scheduled to make a lecture. He just walks into the room and starts talking.
Everyone's very confused.
Who wants to work on film? Why do you want to work on film?
Everyone has the right to be loved. Everyone has the right to love and peace. I'll be right here.
I'll be right.
Well, this is the point of the night where we pick a best of the worst. Colin, what is best of the worst?
I've got to give it to Twisted Pair. I think that's just the most entertaining movie of the evening. Followed, I would say, by The Instructor.
Jim?
Well, these two movies have really bad artifact and quality. You know, they were shot a long time ago. The quality just isn't there. The quality isn't here either. But it's a newer movie, so it's easier to watch. These movies here are people acting badly. Neil Breen isn't acting badly. He's impersonating human beings, which is terrifying. So I'm going with Twisted Pair.
Rich?
Well, you know, there was some strong competition tonight. Some really, really solid competition. But, you know, Neil Breen is just at the top of his game. The man is untouchable. He's on a hot streak right now. Neil Breen is the Michael Jordan of bad cinema.
I know you're being sarcastic about it being competition, but I enjoyed all three of these movies. I'm
actually not being sarcastic. Like, we watched 3 quality, terrible movies.
Yeah, I think we were kind of bored through Dead Eyes, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's terrible, but it's like I could see the alternate universe version of that, where it's like a Dario Argento film, and it works.
Yeah, for sure.
And then The Instructor is just, the second half of that movie.
It's amazing.
It's just insanity.
It's a crowd pleaser, as they say.
I think most other nights, Burt Pesci would have ran away with it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awkwardly ran away with
really
it.
fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Twisted Pair, it's almost like you have to, like, Neil Breen is almost beyond best of the worst at this point.
I was kind of saying,
it's like he's always going to win.
Yeah, we kind of saw that, and I'm thinking we could just have the discussion just about that movie.
Yeah. So if we were to take that out of the equation,
yeah,
I would probably go with Through Dead Eyes.
Time to watch the Robot in the Family one.
Hey, Rich! It's time for another Best of the Worst. You excited? Yeah, me too. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah, I know. It's been great. The winter, though, right? So cold. You and your hot takes.
I thought the wall was a lot closer to me than it was.
Oh no, on the ball.
Who'd have thought we'd be terrible caretakers? I got it. It's right here.
You got it?
I got it. It's right here.
Is it in okay shape?
Yeah. I think we lost a few more flexors on top of the arm, though.
You guys are doing such a good job preserving them on your moisture-resistant shelf. So.
That's the one that leaks water.
Yeah. Oh, sure. We can do this. It's showdown.
So, Shadow Down.
That's right. That's what it's called. Shadow Down.
Two sides of the street. One way to die.
Directed by Leo Fong. That's right, motherfucker. Leo Fong in the hizzy.
Leo Fong, for anyone who doesn't remember, he's Low Blow.
Yeah, he's Low Blow, and the other one.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, Leo Fong has not let us down yet. There's a first time for everything.
Oh.
A small southwestern town suddenly erupts into a war zone when a vicious motorcycle gang storms in. Sanctuary is not your ordinary town. Oh, ironic name.
Oh. The violent town is called Sanctuary. That's just that Leo Fong. He's a clever guy who... Shit.
Oh my God! Oh my God, the town of Sanctuary, right? Its citizens are all retired gangsters. The entire town is retired gangsters.
Yes! Low Blow!
Who now want to live in peace and forget their turbulent past. But Kincaid, the gang leader, decides it's an excellent haven for his lucrative fencing and drug trade.
Fencing like...
No, are you an idiot? Install fences around houses. You fucking moron.
That would make more money.
Frustrated, the local law enforcement agent known as the Commander, Richard Lynch,
Oh, not Low Blow.
calls on his old friend, James Long. I wonder who plays James Long.
Oh, he's got his own!
He's got a bazooka too.
Why does he have a bazooka?
Jay, everybody has a bazooka. He just brought his from home.
Oh, okay. I didn't kill any of them.
Okay.
And they still have a trailer full of bazookas. I just blew up 3 crates. Bye!
Okay, the party's over.
Leo! Leo, not the girls! Don't shoot the girls!
If only you just waited, Leo, eventually they would shoot up. You're about to do it.
All right, so that was a fun movie. I'm just going to assume that Leo Fong, lazily kicks a bunch of people throughout the whole movie. It was great. Yeah. We totally watched it already.
We did. That's how this show works. We came back here after we watched the first movie.
So, on Best of the Worst, we watch a lot of, cheap knockoffs of whatever's popular at the time. But right now, I am proud to present a truly, truly original idea. We have Max Magician and the Legend of the Rings.
It's just, you just take popular IPs out of a hat and go, okay, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, go! Just fucking go. That's so great. He's not wearing glasses, though. I would assume.
That's what makes it wholly original, Jack. Clearly see, he's not wearing glasses.
You're right. 3.5 stars from Science Fiction Chronicle says a fantasy epic in the tradition of Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. So, Rich, we've watched an action movie, presumably, and a fantasy.
And we know exactly what the second film we watched was.
Yes. So here's our third movie. It's Bloods versus Wolves.
Let the battle begin! Prepare for the ultimate battle of evil! When two rival supernatural gangs wage war on the streets of New York City. The Bloods are affluent vampires who rule downtown, controlling the estate, blood banks, of course, and financial institutions. So they run the banks.
Yes, that looks just like my loan officer.
The wolves are the werewolves, in case you didn't know.
Oh, they're werewolves.
Who rule the night in New York's uptown ghetto. Now, it's a battle to the death to determine who will run the city in the day, the night, and for all eternity.
When did we become human, Luke?
We contacted.
I'm not again.
Oh, and his. He pulled out his chicken breast. Oh.
No, that's fine.
Hey, she stayed in character.
She did.
It was a salvageable take.
Yeah.
Probably the only take, but that's fine.
We don't need to talk about the movies. We could just
Let's just talk about which is the best of the worst.
Max Magician and the Legend of the Rings, obviously.
I mean, it came out the most unscathed.
Said Frank
We didn't
Stallone
riff
more
on it a
times
whole
than
lot,
Sylvester's ever
so-
said it.
Well, who's taking the reins here? Like introducing.
Welcome to Best of the Worst.
I was so close.
Nobody. I gave a moment.
I hit the table.
That doesn't mean anything.
And then I was.
Is this some new rule that you've concocted?
I would have, but I understand my fate.
We watched 3 and 1/4 movies. Our first film was Showdown, written, directed, and starring Leo Fong.
Low blow.
Legendary Leo Fong, who's been featured on this show
Multiple times.
Fourth time.
Well, this is the fourth, yeah.
This is the fourth, yeah. Low Blow,
Kill Point.
Kill Point,
Blood Street.
Blood Street. Yeah, that was the one we couldn't remember the name of. Even though Blood Street, he is also playing the same character as Low Blow, right?
Given his naming convention, I just assumed he couldn't think of another name that rhymed with Leo Fong.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's introducing the film?
Oh, Mike, explain Showdown.
Why me?
Why not? Someone's got to do it.
Okay, so Showdown stars Leo Fong as James Long. And there's a town in Nevada called Sanctuary, which is a disgusting, rundown town.
It's a hobo village.
It has like an old main street with like dirty buildings, and all the houses are like falling apart and trashy. But it's a town where it's not incorporated in the United States.
It's completely off the grid.
It's autonomous to any local or federal authorities.
In fact, the paper sign outside of the town says "No one welcome." Non-residents prohibited? How the fuck does that work? You live your life, you make millions of dollars in the mob, you're a successful career criminal, and then you go to retire in a rusty shack in a town with a population of 500.
Tell me how you like them.
Poached.
Clean up your kitchen if it's going to be on camera. Oh, this is horrible.
What the hell?
So how have you been, Dad?
Great, just great.
My life of crime did not pay off. I'm living in a shack.
I'm really proud of my house.
My shack is crumbling around me, and my sanity is dwindling every day, but...
This looks like the worst place on Earth to live. Maybe Syria. But
or Florida.
This is the second, yeah.
Why would the mob bosses spend their millions of dollars on this? Why would our villains of the movie choose to make this their hangout?
Well, the villains in the movie, the biker gang, has chosen to make this their hangout because apparently the U.S. government has no reach in this town.
There's a biker gang led by a guy named Kincaid. Ooh,
that's good. I can remember
Nice
that.
job, Rich.
Yeah.
Who looks like Carl from Die Hard. The big, tall German guy whose real name is Werner Herzog. Yes.
Werner Herzog.
I look into the eyes of Leo Fong and I see nothing but darkness.
He leads a biker gang, and the biker gang in the very beginning does a drug deal where they have big 500 kilos of the top grade shit. They say something like that, right?
$500,000 worth.
So, what do we got going? Dawson and the dealer, though, called Blaze, just took 50 kilos of pure shit.
Wait a minute.
They're fertilizing.
That's not how you describe good things,
There
sir.
is no corn.
This movie's 50 kilos of pure shit.
Oh, snap!
50 weeks.
Wow!
Headphone drop?
They were by my head. I didn't notice them.
We never see them selling it. They just steal the money and the drugs.
Yes.
So in the next scene, when we see the gang, they're strapped for cash.
Strapped for cash, yes. And they're robbing like the local convenience store and flower shop for $11. Oh. News alert! News flash! Wait, this just in. This just in. Mike just remembered something. This is important. This is a big deal. Okay. We've often mentioned the phrase.
Oh yeah.
Shoot the rodeo, and everybody's remembering now. The Shoot the Rodeo comes from a film called The Trooper.
Well, the movie's called Blood Shack.
The movie's
the
called
villain
Blood
in
Shack.
it, the killer, is called the Trooper.
Connie?
And it's a low-budget movie where they take their cameras out and they film a real live rodeo that's happening.
Like the rodeo came into town when they were filming the movie.
Yeah. Well, the story, if we want to get technical about it, the story is they shot the movie, realized it was too short, so they needed some more footage to pad out the runtime. There happened to be a rodeo coming to town, so they just filmed a bunch of B-roll of the actual rodeo just to pad out the runtime. And so we've adopted that phrase.
481 abyssal demons and no whip.
Adds production value. Oh, look.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, where I'm gonna stop for tonight. I've got how many more pies? 12 more, 4 more trips. That'll get me to like 600, 700 demons. I wish that I had this drop. I've already hit like 4 hits on the rare drop table that are rarer than the item. I just want to be lucky sometimes, Talon. I just want to be lucky sometimes. Alright, whatever. Bye, stream.